All right, guys. So I'm so excited to be talking about short form video today because obviously, I think at this point, we can't avoid it. So we have to just learn how to love it. So today we're here with someone who has mastered short form video. Riley, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for the invite. I'm glad that you invited me on. I'm thankful to be here. I'm excited to talk about short form content.
Yes, let's go. I'm so excited about short form content. I actually was very resistant to it at first because like we didn't know if it was going to last, like we didn't know what was happening there. But now I'm in it. I'm like committed. I love it.
I'll say this too. People have been sleeping on short form content since Vine. Vine in
Yeah.
2013 was a
My
thing. It
gosh.
was very evident that people loved that type of content, but it took 10 years for it to manifest, or I guess like 5 to 8. But still,
Right, right.
short form content is
Yeah.
here to stay.
I definitely miss Vine. And that's how like you got started, right? I'd love to hear a
Yeah.
little bit more like about your journey.
Yeah, so I can give you the short version or long version, but I'll take you through it, and you just tell me where you want
Yeah.
me to go in detail. But
Okay.
like a lot of people in the short form content space, I got my start on Vine in
Yeah.
2013. I think I was a sophomore or junior in high school. Found the platform, and I was like, man, this is really interesting. You can create like the access to Vine was so easy. And I don't know if you were on YouTube back then, but YouTube
No.
was a harder platform to start on, and Vine was much easier. It's 6 seconds. You can record something funny, whatever, and post it.
Yeah.
Uh, I didn't find a lot of success on there, but it definitely piqued my interest in terms of creating content. I think I got to a whopping 100 followers, maybe even if that on Vine, but it showed me the opportunity, and I think it ignited a spark that's probably always been in me of creativity. I used to do like little skits with my brothers when I was like 8 years old. We would post this on YouTube. Those are 100% off. So if anybody tries to find it, you're never going to find it because I made sure I went to the dark web to delete those videos. But then after Vine, I switched to Instagram. And I got extremely, extremely lucky because one of my friends, shout out to Andrew Shin from Brentwood, Tennessee, he back in 2013 to 2015, Instagram had meme pages, which were
Oh,
like
yeah.
Vine of the Day, just like different video accounts where basically they would just take content and post it, right, from other people's, just any funny
Yeah.
videos. He grew a page to like, I forget what it was, but I want to say like 4 million followers. And back
Wow.
then on Instagram, that
Crazy.
was like, yeah, that was top 500 accounts worldwide or whatever. So he taught me a lot about growing on the platform. So I decided to start of all things, and back then it was a thing, a prank channel on Instagram
Okay.
to where I would do random social experiments, just random skits and pranks. Long story short, I grew that following to around 80K, which
Wow.
took me, it was uh, a, a learning experience for me going through all of that because you start to see it's not as easy as it looks, and the
Yeah.
responses from a lot of people, especially when it comes to like just people criticizing your content, and when you're at a young age, it's really hard to take that when you're just
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
express yourself. But I did that, and then as any other high school senior is probably thinking about, I had to think about college. And my parents, I had a decision to make. And looking back at it, I don't regret anything in my life, but I definitely shake my head to where in 2015, I would say it was a peak of like just the intro of going into social media. If you started then,
Right.
you're most likely really big now if you're consistent with it. I had to make the decision: do I do Instagram when I have only 80,000 followers? I'm making not much money, not to sustain a life,
Right.
or do I go to college? And obviously, I had to choose college
Fair enough.
to get my parents' approval, which later down the road, I think it did serve a purpose in my life. But I went to college for marketing and business analytics, which really helped, I guess, towards my social media endeavor.
Yeah.
And I went for 3.5, or I graduated in 3.5 years. And I kind of, throughout that process, I would post content, but I wouldn't really take
Right.
it seriously. It was just, college was just, I mean, if you went to college, it just takes all your focus.
Yeah, exactly.
Depending where you go. I did go to a SEC school, so there was a lot of partying happening too. So a lot of distractions. But after that, I ended up at a YouTube agency when I graduated college, at a YouTube agency for 3 years. And a big role for me there was just learning, I guess, about the space. I was heavy into YouTube or Instagram, sorry, and a
Yeah.
little bit to YouTube. I started a channel, but I wasn't really that into it. But a big thing for me at this job when I worked there was just learning about YouTube and what creators are doing and what's happening on that platform, because obviously that's the biggest platform you could be on as a social media creator, and it'll continue that way for the next, who
Yeah.
knows. It's just going to be a big, it's always going to be a big platform. But I learned a lot throughout that experience, and the focus was always long form content. And about a year into that job, I found TikTok. And my little brother, I remember very vividly, we were on a plane going to like Florida for like a hockey game. And he showed me TikTok. And I remember like seeing stuff on the news where it's like, that's cringy. Like all the
Yeah.
stuff on it. Like vividly remember Musically. And I remember like, I don't care. I was always looking for the next platform. I knew there would be something
Yeah.
like Vine. Musically was not it. Like at least the version that I remember, it was like, I'm not getting on that. But my brother showed me TikTok, and I downloaded it and I started like scrolling through the content. I'm like, oh my gosh, this isn't like Musically. This isn't like Vine. This is like, in my eyes,
Yeah.
was revolutionary content of like,
And what
are
year
you
was
kidding?
this?
This was 2020.
Okay.
Sorry, December 2019 is when I
Okay, okay.
made my account. And for all of if any of my people are watching, all the OGs, Lemon Brothers was my original
Oh, okay, okay.
TikTok name, because I wanted my brothers to be a part of my account, but they decided to go
Yeah.
to another direction. Um, but to cut a long story short, because I'm definitely doing the long route, I got really lucky in March of 2020. So like the right when the pandemic's happening, right when everybody's
Yeah.
at home on their phones, I had my first video on TikTok, which before this I had, I think, maybe 100 followers. March
Mhm.
2020, I think it was March 17th, 2020. I literally remember the day. Posted this video that I made with my brother, a little funny skit about when you have your phone connected to the TV and then you walk
I feel
away.
like I saw this.
Maybe because I posted overnight, didn't do much, but then the days following was crazy to where at the end it, I think, reached. I know it's not crazy nowadays because people get crazy views, but I think it got almost 20 million views, and that
That's
changed
still a lot of
every.
views.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was crazy for me because it was one of those videos to where some videos you get views and you don't necessarily get the following to back it.
Right.
That video projected me to 100K within a week or two. So I was like, "Are you
Crazy.
kidding me?" It took me 2 years to get that on
I was just
Instagram,
gonna say, yeah.
and overnight, you're saying I'm getting to 100K. So I felt like a
Crazy.
fraud for a second, but then I was like, "Do you know what?" I looked at my past, was like, "I am destined for this. This is a
Yep.
sign for me to dive heavy into this space," and I've been doing it ever since. And now it's 2023. I think I'm at around 1.3 million on TikTok, and I heavily encourage everybody. And Mr. Beast talked about this with Lex Friedman on a recent podcast that they did. We've never seen a time in social media to where you can go viral on TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Snapchat Spotlight, Facebook, every
Yeah.
platform imaginable. You can reach a huge audience, not even just your audience. You can gather everybody, and
Right.
it's been such a revolutionary time for people who don't have access to production teams. They don't have huge capital to spend on these huge productions. Like all it
Right.
takes, and I tell everybody that I talk to, just this. This got me to a million followers. Just putting up my camera, recording, doing something
Yep.
funny. That's it. And it's been a life changing experience. And I encourage everybody get into the content space because it is lit. I'm so
Yes,
old.
I
Sorry.
love that. So I mean, you definitely have had like so many experiences, but it's so true. Like it really did bring you to like where you were really meant to be. I love those moments where it all kind of like comes to fruition. You're like, wow, I get why I did all of this work in
Yeah.
the past. Like it makes sense, to where I am today. So I love that that happened to you, and I'm sure you've learned so much about short form video and just like how to see the success and how to make a video that, might get views and followers versus just views. So I would love to kind of dive into some of the, I guess, like logistics of what you've learned about video that could be helpful for other people. So I guess to start off, what would you say are some key elements of right now creating a successful piece of short form content?
I'm gonna give a answer that's maybe not typical because
Okay.
I start before, and just this is taking all of my experience in the past and putting it into this. But I think a viral video is created or thought of before you even press record. And that's a big thing that I talk to creators about, to brands about, that 90% of my time is spent in content ideation, and then 10% is the actual execution. And I know some
Okay.
people say don't spend so much time on planning, but I really, really advocate for focus on the idea, focus on how you want to film it, and then record it. I guess it depends your goals, but that's always been my strategy, and it's worked very well, I guess. But in terms of I think I just posted on LinkedIn about this, but four things that I always think about. And I encourage everybody to think like this if you want to strategically do content. Some people
Yeah.
love just to post and they're very charismatic and very natural. That's not me. I have to really think about my content and what I'm trying to do. So I think about my intention behind the content. It's four things that I focus on.
Okay.
It's who's my audience that I'm trying to target with this video that I want to make. So when I'm coming up with these ideas, and we can talk about how we come up with ideas later, but when
Yeah.
I think about it, like of my mom, people love my mom. Okay, so the audience that I'm trying to reach is maybe mothers 25 to 40 or something like that. So all right,
Yep.
what do what do they want to watch? And then you kind of put your mindset in their shoes of like what would they
Right.
be interested in watching. And then after I get that far, I'm like, okay, who's my audience? What? So there's one and two. Three is why would they watch until the end? I think that's such an important metric
Yeah.
for especially short form content, people to think about. 50-second videos are cool, but if you can engage an audience from 0 to 60 seconds and keep them engaged the whole way, you're doing something right. And TikTok will reward you for that. A big thing, a big metric I think a lot of people should focus on is audience retention. Just getting from beginning to end. How you do that is up to you, but I highly encourage people to think about the why. Why
Is
would people want to watch it?
is there like a percentage for retention rate that you typically try and hit in a video?
It varies depending on the video because
Okay.
I'm in the entertainment lifestyle slash space, so I can have either a 15-second video or a 60-second
Right.
video. That 15-second video isn't too hard to get people 80%, 90% of the way through if you know what you're doing. A
Right.
60-second video, if I get 60%, that's an amazing video for me because
Okay.
60 seconds of getting 60% of a person's time, whatever, I don't know what the math is on that, but if I could get somebody to that far, then it's still
Right.
a pretty decent video.
Okay,
But I
that's
would
good.
aim for on average, I would say people probably post like anywhere between 5 to 20 second videos. A good target for anybody to aim for, I would say, is between 60 to 80. If you can get a
Mhm.
person that far, you have a chance of that
That's
video
pretty
being
good.
pushed out. Yeah. Oh, that
Okay.
it's and it depends what your goals is too. If you are just on camera talking and you're not, you know, going through the necessary steps to really push out your video, like having the hook, having the getting the attention, and then having a call to action, then you may be less. But I always aim for around 60, 80%, and that's good. Like if you get that
Yeah.
anywhere between that, it's solid. And that
Okay.
brings me, so those 4 points, if you hit on that, you're already before you're filming, you're already in the game. And then
Right.
I talk about three things that you do in your video. So now you have
Okay.
all the planning that you did. That was 90% of the work. Now just focus on the execution. And those three things is hook. Every single video that I do is based around a hook. Like I can think about an object, like my backpack, and then I think a hook for that object of sneaking a object into my mom's backpack without her knowing, like something that is going to pique a human's interest, no matter who you
Okay.
are, no matter what you do. If you have that hook at the beginning of the video and you can put it in a way to where you carry the video for the first 5 seconds, you're in. Like if you got
Yep.
that, you're already in the viewer's mind. Now it's just captivating their attention of like you have to deliver on the hook. So it
Okay.
goes hook, delivery. Make sure whatever you said the hook was, the next 10 to 20 seconds, depending on what the video is, make sure you deliver. And I guess it really depends on the content style that you're in, but that's at least how I think about it.
Yeah.
And then action of like after you had the hook, after you delivered on the hook, is there a reason for a person to follow you? Is there a reason that a person wants to like this video? Do they want to engage with it? If not, they might just keep on scrolling, which is okay. But I encourage people to make a viewer want to like the video, make them want to
Yeah.
share it. Um, uh, I tend to put CTAs in my captions. I encourage
I was
engagement.
just gonna ask about that.
Yeah,
Like, do you ever put it in your video, like, make sure to hit the plus button, or
yeah.
you put that usually like in your captions?
This is I do. I put all my CTAs in my captions. I don't put on my videos necessarily because for me personally, I view it as a distraction, even though it's a really good call to action. Just
Yeah,
me personally, when I'm posting across all the different platforms, I don't like the like
that's
follow
true.
here
Yeah,
because not every platform's right there
right.
for the follow button. But I encourage everybody to do that. And I don't know if you were on TikTok in 2020, but a huge thing that I did back then that was like terrible. And this was before the longer than 60-second videos on TikTok.
Right.
But people loved, at least creators would do a lot of part twos to encourage people to
Yes.
see the part one that's a very captivating video. And then after the part two, follow and then wait for the next video. I probably
Yeah.
got 200 to 300K followers from doing that, which I'm not proud of. But it was that's a version of a call to action, like, hey, if you're interested in the story, which a lot of times I would base stories on my mom. People love my mom for some reason. She's a lovely lady. I get it. But they would follow me for my next video, which I post once a day. And then if they liked it, they would probably stick around for the following videos after,
Right.
which was a really good strategy for me in the beginning. I don't know if that works now, but I'm assuming it does because people still do the parts
I
two
would
stuff,
say
even
it
though,
probably does. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that's another long version. But shorten it down. The four things you need to ask: who, what, why, how. Who's my audience? What does this audience want to watch? Why would they
Yeah.
want to watch until the end? How is this video different? And then the three things to focus on your content is the hook, the delivery, and then the action that you're calling your audience to
Perfect.
do.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's super helpful. I know you said it was long, but, like, you gave the detail that we
Yeah,
needed, so
yeah,
that was perfect. I
yeah.
love that. So, I'm also curious to hear with, I guess, TikTok specifically. I know that SEO is obviously, like, a huge part of TikTok now. How are you utilizing SEO, or I guess, are you?
Oh yeah, I'm a big believer, and I have one really strong opinion on this. People, I don't know if it's like the Gen Z generation. Sorry to call them out if this is, but they're very on. They do the whole like I don't want to look like I'm trying too hard kind of thing. If
Yes,
you see people post videos without captions or hashtags, it's like I get if you're like
I
a
can't do
mega.
that.
Yeah, I can't either. Like if you're a mega influencer, I totally get it. You don't even have to try, and you get views, and you get people to like you.
Yeah, of
But for
course.
people like us, you have to try. Like putting and for me, SEO, especially on TikTok, is amazing because I don't know how long it is now, but it used to be, X amount of characters, less than probably like a couple lines, but now it's like
Yeah.
infinite. I forget.
I think it's like is it 250 or something? It's pretty
Yeah,
long. Like you can put a
pretty
lot of stuff in a caption now.
very long. Like it's almost like too long, but I love it because I use how I kind of my strategy behind just SEO in general
Yeah,
on TikTok. Obviously, the first two lines of your text are what people see. So I make sure
right.
whatever in that is very strategized in terms of like the keywords that are in that. Of like if it's with my mom, I can't even give example, but just make sure those first two lines are really good. And then
Yeah,
I typically do, and I know some people like not to try too hard, but I put like anywhere between 5 to 15 hashtags. And those hashtags, a very important point here, consists of directing people towards my brand. For me, I think I've gotten, and I've switched my account name. I used to be Lemon Brothers. Now I'm
right.
Riley doing things. But I got my hashtag, I guess, viewership up to probably around 500 million of all
Wow.
encompassing. And that means, at least for me, this is how I think about it. If somebody types in Riley or Riley Lemon, I will be one of the people that pops up in that search,
Right.
which is so important. And people don't think about that. Of like, I get it. It looks cool that you don't have any hashtags and you have so many views. But what if that video that got so many views was under hashtag, and if people look something up on
Exactly.
TikTok, which now TikTok is kind of like the baby Google now.
Yeah.
Everybody's going there to search. People will find you. And that's been a
Right.
revolutionary thing that I've done recently. I think I started that in like 2021.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I am on the same page. Like, I like a planned piece of content. I like my caption to be like, fully encompassing what I need to say. Like, I think maybe it's like the millennial kind of thing. Like
Yeah,
we're a little bit more like we want to like
planned.
have everything. Yeah, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Neat,
we
nice
want to
and
like get all
neat.
our ducks in a row.
Yeah,
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 so
yeah,
I totally get
yeah.
that. I'm the same way, and I've realized that SEO really, especially in the last year, has been such an important part of getting more people to your content. And I guess for anyone who's listening that doesn't really understand SEO, SEO is like, what would you type into Google to find this piece of content? And one thing that I like with TikTok too, and I'm not sure if you ever utilize this and how you utilize it, but if I type in, if I'm creating a video about how to set your rates as a content creator, I can go type that in on TikTok and then it will show me those suggested keywords that
Mhm.
are similar. Like these are things other people are searching for. So those are all things that I can create more videos about and put those exact search terms
Yep.
in my caption or in my video. So SEO, I feel like has become so powerful in the last year. So it's important that people know what it is, but that they also realize there's a lot of ways to utilize it, and they should try to utilize it as much as possible.
I totally agree. And I too do the same thing. Any hashtag
Yeah,
that's similar to what I can put, I just want to own how I look at it. I want to own the hashtag. If somebody
yeah,
types in a certain hashtag, I want the first 10 videos to be me. That way, people are like, okay, this guy keeps on popping up. I have to go check out what he does.
yeah.
If it's
Like,
like
what's the
under
deal?
whatever. Also,
Yep.
I'm not too. I'm a part of what I'm doing this year. I'm getting more onto the business side of things, but
Right.
TikTok ads. I'm very confident. I know we're in a very weird time with the economy or whatever, but I'm a
Yeah.
strong believer that TikTok ads will be a replacement or at least a equivalent to Facebook ads in terms of advertising.
Right.
A friend of mine, Jamie Lee, he runs a brand. I can't forget the name of it, but hopefully I remember by the end. But he talked about that if you own a certain hashtag, you can then go to TikTok ads and reserve people who watched your hashtag in ads. Which is if you've
Interesting.
ever done Google advertising, or a lot of my YouTube agency experience was doing Google ads and specifically
Okay.
making the display and search ads on YouTube. So if you ever got an
Yeah.
ad, I was a lot of my job was focused on how do I target you and how do I make you want to come to our site or whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is getting that audience who watched one of your videos, reserving your content to them again. So it's like it's kind of like an exposure of like
Yeah.
one time it's like okay, I saw this guy but don't really care. If I see him another 5 times, okay, I have to go
Fine.
check
I'll
him out.
look.
And you can do that with hashtags, which is absolutely amazing. I love it.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and it's interesting too because you hear so much talk in the last couple of years, especially on Instagram, about how people are like, "Oh, hashtags don't matter anymore. Do I still need to use hashtags?" I also am a firm believer in hashtags. I feel like weird if I don't use them on my post because I'm like, you
Same.
never know what's going to happen with them. Is it ever going to hurt you?
Yep.
No. So like, why not just put them in there? I don't understand it.
That's my same thinking. If like it's not
Yeah.
going to hurt, and if it's only going to benefit you, even if it's only five
Right.
percent, that's a 5% more chance of it getting
Yep.
pushed, and now you being able to access that information later. So I
Yeah.
totally agree. Team
I mean, all
hashtag.
it yeah, team hashtag, I love that. I
Yeah.
mean, all it takes is the video getting into the hands of one person who might share it to 50 of their friends, who might share it to 50 of their friends. Like, you just never know. It takes one person to make a really big difference in your content, so
I
the hashtags
agree.
might reach that person.
I want to say this too. A big thing that I say to a lot of smaller creators, and I guess just anybody under 1,000 followers, I guess is just
Yeah,
in their beginning journey. Um, all it takes is one video. Like for me, and I know
yep,
it. I mean, maybe I'm a rare case. I've seen it happen time and time again with a lot of people who are on the come up. But
yeah,
I've seen a lot of my friends have one video pop off, and all of a sudden they jump up from this many followers to this many followers, and now they start getting an audience. They start building a community,
right.
and you can, I mean, obviously, go back to the hashtag conversation. You can implement that strategy into all your videos. Just because all your videos get 200 views, what if that 101st video got 100,000 views, and you put all the hashtags that were
Yeah,
necessary, and that could change the game for you going in the future. So I just want to make sure all the creators that are listening, doesn't matter how many views you get, doesn't matter how many followers you get. All it takes is one video. The
yeah,
platform that TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, the access that you have to creating and potentially going viral or just getting a community to you has never been easier. Like it's insane.
yeah. Now
It's
is the
crazy.
time.
Yeah, now is the time.
Yeah, it's a great conversation to also shift into as well with the idea that so many creators are waiting for their piece of content to be perfect before they share it. And it's totally different from planning it, because you can plan a piece of content and like maybe it doesn't come out exactly how you want it, but like, are you just going to trash the whole idea? Like,
Yeah.
you created the video, put it out there. And so many creators, I think, wait for that perfect video before they share something, and then they end up sharing, one video a week or something. And if you just put out all of those small ones that maybe you didn't think would amount to anything, you never know, that could be like the one video again that propels you to somewhere you never thought you would end up. So
Yeah.
it really is like it's a difficult thing for creators, because I think so many of us are perfectionists, but sometimes you just got to get it out there.
I some of my biggest videos have been ones in my drafts that I'm like, it's a little bit cringy. I just
Right.
don't want to show that much of myself. I want to show 80%, but not the full 150%. But those videos, I posted a video like 2 months ago that went crazy. It's like, oh my God, that was in my drafts for like 3 months. And I just didn't
Crazy.
want to post it. Another tip, all you creators out there, stop. We are perfectionists because I think we're creatives and we want to express ourselves
Yeah.
online. Don't overthink. I think like so
Yeah.
many people, and I get like that's just our society nowadays. We're exposed to so many people at once, and it is scary to put yourself out there. But don't overthink what you're doing. You can plan and post, but don't let your mind stop you from putting what you want out there. Put everything out there. See what sticks. I think a lot of growing on TikTok is just testing. Like it
Yes.
takes 100. I honestly, if you blow up or get a following before 100 videos, that's a success in my eyes because it took
Oh
you
yeah.
only that many videos to get to where you are. I would just test, 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 and don't overthink it. Post everything.
Yeah.
That's my life motto. Do everything.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, I think one thing that could be a little bit discouraging for creators too is seeing a situation like, I mean, even yours, where you start off with 100 followers, okay, and then one video happens and now you're like over here, and it seems like it happens so fast, and I think for a lot of people it does. But when you have to post for 6 months, for a year, for 2 years before you see growth like that, it's so easy during that period of time to give up and be like, oh well, I must not be good enough if I'm not having a viral moment like that, and like I'm not blowing up. And so I think there are a lot of times throughout a creator's journey where they're like, why am I even bothering with this? Because it's so easy to compare yourself to like the quick growth that other people have
Oh yeah.
too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and I'm sure like even with you having a moment like that, like I'm sure right now you're still looking at people that have 10, 20, 100 million and
I
saying, why is that not happening to me?
Yeah, I'm guilty of comparison. As humans, I think that's one of our biggest flaws.
Yeah,
We love to compare. I've seen a person close to me go from I think they were at 500K views, getting on average probably 20,000 views to 2 million within 2 weeks, and now all of a sudden,
crazy.
all of their videos are getting 2 million views. And you do reflect back at yourself. It's like, damn, I've been in this space for 10 years, and I've worked
Yeah.
like over the past 5 years to grow or
Mhm.
4 years to grow a TikTok following. I'm only at this point, but what I encourage, even at that point, if you have been posting 1,000 videos and you are still not getting anywhere with the content, one, keep going because that 1,001st has the potential of going viral. You always have a
Literally.
chance. There's always a chance. And then secondly, I really encourage people. A lot of people expect to go viral just by holding up a camera and like talking. I love that, and if you are an Ember Chamberlain, Liza Koshy type personality, that probably can happen. But
Right.
if you are doing 1,000 videos of just you recording your face and it's not working, I would encourage that person on your 1,001st video, try something different, test something
Right.
different. Like it's all about experimentation. 1,000 videos, that's a lot of data. If you just mix one little thing. I think Mr. Beast also said this, and I'll reiterate what he said. Change one thing in every single video for your first 100,000 videos.
Right.
You're gonna not 100,000, 100 to 1,000. That'd be a lot.
It's just
But
100,000
yeah, yeah,
videos. Come
that's
on.
nothing. That's only like a video every 30 seconds. Just change one thing, and I guarantee you, if you look at the data, and I'm a big data junkie. You look at the
Yeah.
data, you will notice a switch, and the audience that you're getting, the amount of views that you're getting, whatever your goals with content, you will see a switch, and you can just kind of pick and
Yeah.
choose what's working and what's not.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a great point too. There is so much trial and error that goes into figuring out what your thing is. You know, like I think about my best friend, her name's Sonia. She probably had like maybe like 20, 30,000 on Instagram most of last year. And then she started doing this different style of content where she would take photos from Pinterest. She's a model. And
Mhm.
so she would take photos from Pinterest and she would recreate all of the poses and show you how to
That's
do it.
smart. I love that.
And this series for her blew up. Every single one on Instagram, every single one of her videos is getting a million views. She's
That's
at over
insane.
500,000 followers on TikTok. This all happened in like a maybe 4-month period, 3-month
Mm.
period, very short amount of time. But she never created those videos before. So once she started experimenting a little, she got this idea and said, okay, whatever, I'll try it. And look at where it got her, you know, but it's all a trial and error process. And I think that's where so many creators get stuck is like
Mhm.
they either don't want to put the work into thinking of something different to try, or they insist that the way that they're doing it is the way it's going to be and they don't want to change it. So
That's the
you
biggest
have to
mistake right
be
there.
yeah, you have to be open to change, and if it's not working, don't keep doing it. There's
Yeah.
so many other things that you can try. You just have to be open to trying
I agree, and that gives me literally chills. I have chills. I don't know if you could see because
it.
that if that like especially to creators, instead of comparing. So I've switched my mindset of hearing a story like that is so encouraging. Of like if you go from this point where you're a little bit lower to like having just one idea. She had one idea of go
Yep.
to Pinterest, do this thing. Boom, she's all the way up here. That's so inspiring because like just like and
Yeah.
I'll reiterate this a whole bunch of times. All it takes is one idea, one video, one moment in your life to change the trajectory of your life. Which also, I will say this too. I think this is a good time to mention it. I'm a big believer, and I know a decent amount of people have been talking about this, but I'm a big believer in this. People love, and I don't know what your opinion on this, and this is a very people have their different opinions on this
Okay.
topic, but people love to niche themselves down.
Mm.
They love to like, I am the like I don't know why, but I have a Rock'em Sock'em box, those little robots. I'm a Rock'em Sock'em fanatic. That's all I post about. And it's like,
Right.
I love that. You'll get such a dedicated audience, but the audience that you could get, and this is, I think, going to be a big switch in 2023, if you made yourself the content of like,
Mhm.
not only do I do Rock and Sock'em, I'm an entertaining personality and I'm showing you who I am. Because now not
Right.
only will you get Rock and Sock'em fanatics, you will get people who are a fan of you. And
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
biggest, like I think, for me, a huge realization that I had a little bit later than I would have liked to. Followers don't matter. I don't care like who you are. Followers don't matter. I what does matter is the community within your
Right.
followers, which those are the people I look at. Of like, okay, the same 5 people, 10 people who comment on my videos, I'm looking at you. You're the people I'm trying to get because you're subscribed to me,
Right.
rather than just like I created a viral video, I got lucky, you're going to watch and then you're going to bounce off.
Yeah.
In 2023, I see that being a shift, going from sensational, huge ideas type of content to this community base. Like I'm following a person just because I like them as a person
Right.
and what they do thereafter. So that's at least my personal goal, what I'm trying to do with my content
Right.
going forward.
Yeah, I think that I mean I agree with that. I have the niche conversation with all of the creators that I work with, and it's so difficult because there really is like polar opposites. Like you don't have to have one, you do have to have
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
And I understand the argument from both sides. I feel like I kind of fall somewhere in the middle where I don't think you need to label yourself as like I am a beauty creator.
yeah,
I am a fashion whatever. Like you don't have to have one word that defines you, but I do think that you have to have some sort of like a mission statement or a purpose. You know, yours might be, you know, I am a creator who entertains people so that they can have a better day. Whatever. Like that's your mission. And as long as everything you do is in line with that mission, great. Like
yeah.
you maybe it's not one word that could put you in a box, but it gives you something to kind
A
of like fall
purpose.
back on.
Yeah,
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 purpose,
of who
exactly.
you are, what you do. I'm literally
Right. And
looking
if
at on my wall. Sorry to cut you off, but just on
you're
that
fine.
point, purpose and mission. I'm a
Yeah.
big believer, and I'm a huge believer in post-it notes. I love post-it notes and
Oh,
ideas on
yeah.
post-it notes. But I literally have on my wall my purpose. What I say to myself every day is to be myself, and a lot of that is being entertaining and funny
Yeah.
because that's who I am. I love just being whatever, making people laugh. And my
Right.
mission is to allow others to be themselves, and hopefully when people see my content and see that I'm being goofy or I'm being silly, hopefully
Right.
I just want one person to see it and be like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. I just want to show myself, and hopefully they have the courage to do it because it takes a
Yeah.
lot from a person to be like, you know what? I'm gonna put myself out there. I don't care what happens. I just want to be my authentic self, which I
Right.
think is going to be a big differentiator of creators of just being yourself.
Yep.
Stop faking it. Stop trying to be somebody else. Just be yourself and post what you want, and you'll eventually
Yeah.
find success.
I agree. I mean, I'm right there with you. It's something that I've actually like personally been trying to figure out for myself and my own content. I look back at my content from 2020 and from 2021, even into last year a bit. And it's so interesting looking back at yourself when you created all of that, especially for me. Like, that's when I was just getting onto TikTok in 2020. And I thought I had to be a certain way. I wanted to present myself a certain way, especially as a coach. I wanted people to feel comfortable spending money with me and look at me as a professional, but I lost myself so much in the process. Like I feel like I'm the same. Like I swear a lot and like I never have a serious like conversation ever. So
Same.
it's like it's interesting to look back at my content and be like, wow, I literally was like not even in my body,
You're like a
like
statue, and you're just like, I'm trying to perform
yes,
for people and like me, but
exactly.
after it gets old, after I would say a year, it's like, I'm sick of
Yeah.
being fake, and it just, yeah,
Right. And
I'm the
you
same way.
sometimes you get like too deep into it sometimes, and I think it's hard to like pull yourself out of it, but going back and looking at that content, I was just like, okay, I need to actively try not to do that. Like when I'm
Yes,
creating content now, if I stumble over my words, I'm not re-recording it,
same.
or like if I like swear, I'm like, all right, well, like I'm human, like that's
Yeah, yeah,
that's just me. Like if someone does hire me as a coach, I'm probably gonna swear, like so
yeah.
it's true, like, it's very difficult to put yourself out there authentically as you are to all your friends and your family, and it really is, like, something to be, like, applauded because it's not easy to do.
No, it's not because you're like I'm a big believer in that as well. Of once you put yourself out there like that, if you don't have a certain mindset, you are putting your most authentic version out there. And
Yeah,
if people don't like that, it is kind of hurtful. It's like, man, that's me, that's who I am, and people aren't liking that. But
right.
a big like method that I like to live by, which I don't know who coined this, but I'm also like really into philosophy and just other people who have found success
Yeah.
in life. But somebody has said this, and hopefully somebody watching this knows who it is. But that 80% of the people who meet you, who interact with you, they're going to like you no matter what. It's just like they like you as a person, you're a good person, and they like that. The other 20% just inevitably maybe aren't going to like you. There's something about you. It's just like either what you do, whatever.
Yeah.
That mindset switch for me has been like amazing because I used to take it personally. When I would get a comment, I get DMs a lot, and I would get like stupid DMs like, "Oh, your that
Yeah.
video wasn't funny." I'm like, "Oh man, I thought it was funny." Like, ouch. Like, okay, I'm not going to post anymore. But once I switched my mindset of like, "Oh, you're a 20%er. You're just a part of
Yep.
that group who are just you're just going to diss on me, and that's okay." But as long as that 80% I can be my most authentic self, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like I'm totally happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to same as like outside of content creation, you can't please everyone.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to make everyone happy doing what you want to do. I mean, there are plenty of people that look at what I do and are just like, "Oh, you're an influencer." Like,
Yeah.
"Okay, please, like get a real job." I feel like I hear that multiple times
Yeah.
a day.
Hey, it is a real job nowadays because I don't know what the stats are on it, but it used to like it went from kids wanting to be YouTubers back in I think the stat was like in
Yes.
2015. Now it's like you just want to be an influencer. I don't just
Yep.
want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a TikTok or Instagram or whatever it means. Influence is a highly sought after career now.
Just
That's at least
saying.
what I tell myself.
Just saying.
Yeah,
I mean, hey, like we're out here living
we're
our
doing
our
we're
lives. We're paying the bills.
yeah.
What
I
more do you
record
want?
myself for
Like
yeah. I literally record
so
myself for a living, but I love it. I
I
love it.
also want to touch on your business speaking of monetizing. So you started your own company as well. So I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, so in 2022, April or March of 2022, at this point, I worked for 3 years at my or at the YouTube agency, and I had like I don't know what it was, but overnight I had a dream. I guess you could call it an epiphany. I don't. People get
Yeah.
scared when you talk about spiritual stuff, but I had an epiphany, and I was like, we're doing like this agency, a lot of agencies are focusing on long form content. And at this point, I've been doing TikTok for 3 years. do they not see the opportunity with short form content and the creators, Charlie D'Amelio, Addison
Right.
Rae, in the very beginning, they were blowing up and working with brands like Dunkin' Donuts. Like it's crazy the amount of success they have found. So I had
Yeah.
an epiphany of like, oh wow, I've been doing short form content since 2015, basically, even before that, but I'll put it there, taking it seriously. Um, why don't I pitch them on doing short form content? And
Yeah.
unfortunately, uh, they wanted to focus on YouTube because that's where the money is. Monetization at
Right.
that point on TikTok, Instagram, all those points wasn't where it is now. It's at each day that goes by, it's progressing, and we're getting
Oh
to a
yeah.
point February 1st when you start seeing ad rev share with YouTube. I know people have a really high expectation for it, but it's not just the monetization aspect. It's going to just jump. It's going to keep on jumping.
Right.
TikTok's going to want to out to you, and it's just going to be amazing for the
Yeah, they'll be
creators.
competing with each other.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. And it's
We love
great.
that.
It's great. Yeah, we love competition, at least for the brands or the
For not
platforms.
us, for
Yeah,
everyone
yeah,
else.
not us, not us. I don't want to compete. But I decided I was like, you know what? The 9 to 5 was never for me. I always never found purpose there. It was hard for me
Yeah.
to subscribe to a culture where I just always knew I think when I was like 18, I just knew I was supposed to do something by myself. And a lot of I don't want to call myself an entrepreneur because I'm just beginning of my journey. But a lot of people who have that urge, I really encourage you, take a step out of your comfort zone, whether that means like leaving your 9 to 5 without having a backup
Right.
plan or any money. It's a little bit extreme. That's what I did. But I encourage you to go to clubs or go meet with people or a
Yep.
mentor. Find somebody to take that step because it has changed my life. But I decided to leave my 9 to 5. I created my business called Bite Size, where the purpose of it is to work with brands on their short form content strategy, their content, their execution, and then everything else in between. Basically,
Yeah.
any brands that aren't on TikTok, they're not familiar with it. I take what I've done or take what I've learned, hold their hand, kind of teach them through it, and then walk them to the end of actually like having a TikTok posted and then showing them what to do thereafter.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited about this year because what I learned from that experience, because from April to December was when I was very intently doing that.
Yeah.
For a lot of brands that are on TikTok and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, I applaud you and congratulations because you are way ahead of the game. What I saw
True.
is a lot of brands, at least that I was targeting, were a little bit behind on their methods of marketing. They're stuck on TV advertising and all the traditional ways of marketing
Yeah.
and convincing them of marketing on short form content platforms. It was like a total foreign concept. So
Yeah.
I still work with brands, but I did a really, really deep dive into myself from October until now. And my passion since 2015, it's evident, has been content and has been working with creators. So
Yeah.
I'm pivoting bite size. I work with brands, but another part of it is going to be working with content creators, specifically UGC creators, and
Nice.
dabbling into influencers and bringing my knowledge into the mix of getting those brands, having them come to us for the content, and then having a pool of these UGC creators that we can kind of deploy content for them
Love that.
and do it in a way where like it actually makes sense because a lot of the brands are like um, there's just a certain mind shift that needs to happen in terms of marketing a product. You can't just say buy this now, it's cool. You got to be very strategic about it within 60 seconds of a video. And the people who know how to create content and go viral the best are content creators, and those are the people who
Yep.
need to be elevated on a platform and be given the resources to make it happen for brands. So I am shifting into that, and I'm really excited to see where that goes
That's
this year.
awesome. Yay! Big things for 2023. We love
2023,
it.
it's a huge year. I'm telling you.
It just feels different.
It
It's
does.
something in the air.
I'm telling you. I'll say this. My friends make fun of me because I started a. I'll also say this. I started a. I found, and I don't know your experience, but with content creation since 2015, and that's when being an influencer was not cool, or being a content creator wasn't
True.
cool, is very lonely and took a huge tax on me personally
Mhm.
with my mental health and finding friends who didn't find my content cringy and would make fun of me for it. I had a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
difficulty making friends, but in the end of 2022, I decided, I was like, do you know what? I'm sick of this. I have like, I go on Google and try to find creators near me, and I can't find anybody. Like, there's nobody that I can
Yeah.
find besides like the one-off people who aren't going to respond to me, like the people with millions of followers. So
Right.
I decided to go on a journey of creating with some of my other friends. Sorry, I decided to go on a journey with creating with some of my other friends. Shout out to Jeremy, Ryan, Chase, and Clayton to start the National Creator Collective. To where
Oh,
basically we get all the influencers we can, or content creators. You don't even have to be an influencer, just a content creator in Nashville.
right.
And we do monthly meetings of like, hey, let's just take a time to get together. Let's just talk.
That's awesome.
There is no expectations of what's going to happen. We just want to talk about how you're doing. Maybe you can share ideas. Maybe you can even collaborate on videos. All of that. We had our first one in December, and it was really successful. I really enjoyed it, and it inspired me going into this year that I really want to be I guess a pioneer in starting
Yeah.
these influencer groups. We're not like, just like we said earlier, we don't have to view each other as competition. We're together. We're allies.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in the space, and I, at least I've noticed, view everybody as competition. We're not. We need to be friends. And so I want to hopefully be an advocate for, let's get everybody together. Let's work together
Right.
instead of competing. And hopefully that'll come into fruition over 2023. And hopefully other states do that as well. Because if I had that back in 2015, that would have saved my mental health.
Honestly, yeah, no, it's so true. Well, I love that you're doing that. If you ever need to have a Charlotte meeting, let me know.
Yeah,
I
I
love
hope,
that.
hopefully VidCon is where is it? They just announced that there's going to be an East Coast in Maryland,
Oh,
which
really?
VidCon is like the influencer event that everybody goes to in LA.
Hell yeah, I
This is
didn't
the
know
first
that.
year. Yeah, this is the first year that they're hosting it in Maryland, the East Coast. So hopefully,
Oh yeah, I
I
love
want
that.
the East Coast to have some representation in the influencer space, because right
We
now,
need it.
Mr. Beast in wherever in North Carolina somewhere, I know
Yeah,
that
he's in North Carolina.
he is pioneering everything for the East Coast. But I hope that everybody, all the East Coast, can band together and we can start advocating for each other. We stamp our mark on the content creation space, because right now LA, all of them have their mark, but let's get the East Coast up. Come
Yeah,
on.
I love that. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for everything today. This was so helpful. I feel like we got a lot of really great tidbits of information, but we also got a lot of inspiration. I feel like people are going to leave this episode feeling really good and ready to post their 1001 video. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the invite. Don't overthink it. Post content. 2023 is going to be a big year for everybody. Just post. Don't think. Thank you. I
Let's
appreciate
go.
it.
Woo!